Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Peacock, and today we are episode 8 with our project Flintropica. And in episode 7, if you recall, we built our university over here and put at least one down of every building that we could. I think it turned out really well. So we put the football and the basketball arena over here, and this is the commencement office. Plenty of parking. The main entrance right here, and then we put our other three athletic venues over here along the beach, along the coast, and then put all of our various schools and everything here in the center. So I think it turned out really well. So that's what we did in episode 7. Episode 8, I wanted to do something a little different. It's been a interesting couple of days trying to get this next episode going, and discovered a couple of problems and a couple of potential issues. And so I want to address those now and try and get those fixed before we get too deep into this. The one thing I noticed while I was doing the edit for episode 7, I noticed that my RCI indicators down here were not going past 0. And if you recall in my earlier episodes, there were numbers on here in the RCI indicator. And that was through a mod called Demand Master. And basically, I had noticed during the edit that they weren't getting above 0. And digging into it, come to find out that that mod is broken. And, obviously, right? But what it was doing is it was preventing demand from going above 0, specifically. So I uninstalled that mod, and I installed a different one in its place. I think it's called Demand RCI, and what it does is it presents by district. Or, I'm sorry, not Demand RCI, District RCI, and it presents by district what your RCI indicators are. So for Pearl Square, we've got plenty of residential demand, plenty of commercial demand, and we're starting to get some demand for offices and industry. So like over here at Fairview Heights, we don't have anything set up yet. So obviously it's wanting residential. And same thing over here, wanting residential. So that was a better find, I think. Because that was kind of what I wanted was, what the demands are by district, and so we can try and address those and get all of our buildings to level up. So that was the first thing. Error I had come across. The second problem I came across was that with the and I sort of tracked this down to the touch this mod. But it gives you the ability, right? If you go to the touch this tool and you click on, you can click on the network segment to decouple it from that asset, and then you can upgrade it or replace it. If you use this on any of the rail assets, whether it's the main passenger terminal or not for cargo, but the passenger terminal or the metro train hub, you no longer were able to create train lines to or from that particular station. And like I said, I was able to track it down to the Touch This tool, and I've gone ahead and I've posted that up on the workshop. See if the mod creator will address it. So that was the second thing I found. But one of the things I want to do is, since I realize, we've got a passenger terminal and we have our metro, is that we can take advantage of using the train metro hub. So I want to go ahead and replace that. So we'll do that here later in this episode. So now on to the things that could potentially cause a problem. As you can see, we don't have a whole lot going on over here, and traffic's flowing pretty good. But one potential bottleneck is right here at this junction, where you've got cars from either side, turning left or turning right, impeding traffic in this intersection, which could obviously affect this and back things up in either direction. So eventually what I want to do, I'm not going to do it today, but just something to think about. Eventually I want to upgrade this back to a two-lane one-way, so that each of the 6 lanes has a lane to go to here, so traffic can flow smoothly. But then dealing with how do people get on the highway, and one thing I'm thinking about doing is probably doing an overpass or an underpass with this corner here and this corner here as they approach this main road. And basically just do an underpass to come up on this side and then hook up on this side of the roundabout. So we'll do that in a later episode. I'm not going to do that today. The other thing I wanted to actually do today was talk about the traffic manager. And I've been playing this game off and on for a couple years, but I hadn't really played it in several months, and until recently. And when I was playing it before, the traffic manager, you had the ability for vehicle restrictions to determine what vehicles can go on which road. And the last time I played this, probably it's been a while, but it was on a road by road basis. And apparently now, and I don't recall this happening back then. It may have always been that way, and I just never paid attention. Now it's lane by lane. So, talking about keeping traffic flowing, and the main reason I did these going one way was to try and keep traffic flowing. But that presents another set of problems, in that emergency services have to be placed exactly right in your district to get coverage, so that you don't have all your services having to go all the way around and then coming back to eventually where they needed to go. So since since traffic manager controls that lane by lane, I want to put in the asymmetrical 3-1. So this guy right here, and basically have three lanes going the same way, and have a 1 lane going the opposite way, and prohibit all vehicles except emergency services from using that lane. So that'll provide flexibility for placement of emergency services. So that's something I want to go ahead and knock that out right now. And as I do that, we'll speed the video up, and you can watch me do this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've done that to both sides. And one additional thing I did was, rather than having it come down and then dealing with this over here, I didn't have a 4+1. So I just had it come up, and then it's, all cars basically to here, and then on this segment here, it's only emergency vehicles. So I've done the same thing with the commercial side as I did on the other, and so that should address that issue. So the last thing I wanted to do in this episode before I fix this up here is talk about the other problem that I sort of discovered. This pool that I downloaded from the workshop, as you can see, there's a dead person waiting to be transported. Is one of those things that requires road access. So it was just, I plopped it down next to a road, and then, used move it to kind of put it in position. And then it was still complaining that it wasn't near a road, so I gave it an invisible road and then put this pavement over it. And then I've realized, of course, now that you have this dead body, that there's no way for a hearse to go in there and go get it. So I have to either bring a road in so that they can, have a connection to it to pick it up, or just get rid of it. And I'm leaning towards getting rid of it, because putting a connection, obviously I don't want to necessarily have a road connection into my park other than what's already, up here and etc. So I'm going to delete it. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. And so I need to find another pool to download and put in this space here. I had actually gone in and downloaded like 3 or 4 of them, and when I kept loading the game kept crashing. And so rather than trying to figure out which of the 4 screwed things up, I just unsubscribed them all, and so I have no pool right now to put in this space. So if you have any ideas for what to put in the space, or anything else that we could put here in the park, drop that down in the comments. So, and we'll address that in the next episode. So, my last concern or issue is that when I was trying to sort of figure out how to deal with this in this map prior to this episode, I was running out of money. And even with the auto money mod, it popped up the bankruptcy warning. And so a big part of the expense, because I'm burning 67,000 a week, the big part of that expense is coming from the university, the education. So obviously Metro is getting up there versus how much we're earning on that, and but as we add residents, we can fix that. That'll fix that. So, but 58K for education, of which it's basically all the university. So we have enough capacity, 457 students out of 7,400. While I'm here, I need to go ahead and do some of this. Let's bring that down. Okay, and that's good. So let's see what's empty. Okay, that one's empty. We'll just turn them off rather than demolishing them. Okay, that one's got students. School of Science has 0, so no science for you. School of Law, 124. That one's got 0. 7. 0. That one's got 127. That's got 0. That's 0. Groundskeeping. That's 0. That's 0. 0. And one more. 38. Okay, we'll leave that one. All right, so we'll leave everything else on, and hopefully it won't burn money as quickly. So that'll hopefully help us there. So let's go ahead and let's address this. Just kind of clean up shop here. Yep. And you too. Alright, let's do our train first. That one's easy. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Okay, and then now I can decouple the road. That still worked fine. So let me change that to a 2-lane one-way. Going the other way. And then let's do the metro. Okay, so we want tunnel. That's at minus 24. 23. That's minus 24. Okay. And that looks okay. And then the road, I think we'll just extend that out and join it up here at the roundabout. So let's see. Normal. Bring that back up. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at our lines that have to be fixed. So I think it's just these two, the cruise to industry and the loop. So let me hide these two. Let's do the red one first. I'm actually going to not use this one for right now because in the next episode, I want us to expand on our mass transit. And so I want to install the inner city bus metro hub down here. And so we'll eliminate this stop and use the one that comes with that hub. So we'll start here and we'll terminate here. So I think that came down to here. And back here. And terminate there. And then when we add the hub, we'll just go and extend that out and include that stop. We'll make that red. Okay, so that's that one. And then the Pearl Square, that was the one that went around, yeah, down to campus. So let's, yep, want to delete that. Same thing, we'll ignore this one for now. So create a new line. And that came down here. Here. Back to campus. And back the other way. And we'll terminate that here. And then this was the Pearl Square University line or loop. And yeah, we'll leave that one green. Okay, so that takes care of our lines. Let me make sure they're all visible again. All right, and then I think we're at a good spot now to end this episode. It was a short one, but I wanted to just talk about it and deal with the issues that I had discovered to this point. So in the next episode, like I said, we'll expand on mass transit. We'll set up our inner city bus, metro line, or station, and hook up the lines to it. I think if we can make it fit somewhere over here, so that people walking from the harbor can come down and catch metro, and basically have it bend to meet up here with this one, and have it come down to meet with this one. I think that would be great. And then another thing I want to do is put in a passenger terminal down here at our industry, so that our residents have another way to get to work, and then hook up that line between there and the hub we just installed. The other thing, buses, we don't have any bus lines yet, so definitely want to include a bus line here in our residential area here. I want to try and avoid it over here because we're doing high density over here, so I want to try and minimize traffic. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I'm kind of thinking we sort of metro this up, and if we need to later, we can always add bus lines. And then the other thing we want to do is we have the tram road installed. We now need to set up our tram line. Our first one that'll just go around campus, and then back to this area up here, back to our depot. So thanks for joining in. If you like what I'm doing, or if you've learned something from this episode, hit the like button. And if you want to follow along, I invite you to please subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.